I feel like today in NASCAR, especially when it comes to being during the playoff era, there's a lot of misconceptions about what drivers are good, which drivers didn't have good years, different things like that. And I think that there's a lot of drivers who are maybe overhated or underrated. And today, I want to go over somebody who I think is NASCAR's most underrated elite driver. That being Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell last year took a huge step into the right direction, and in doing so, made his first Championship 4 appearance in only his third full-time season in the NASCAR Cup Series. But I think that he didn't get the recognition he deserved, and today I'm going to show you why, and also why I think he's going to get that recognition in year 4. Starting off, I'm just going to say, like I said before, 2022 was a huge step up for Bell. Most of the playoffs, he actually was the guy who scored the most points. Early on in the playoffs, he was far and away the most consistent driver, and it showed as he was easily able to make it to the second round. Though it didn't work out after that, he was really clutch when it came to the wins that he had as well at the Roval and at Martinsville at the end of the round of 12 and 8. And these were a result of 3 different things, and 3 different aspects of why I think he is going to be very big moving forward. Starting off, it was a result of good driving. I mean, road courses and short tracks are probably the most talent-based tracks the driver can win at in the NASCAR Cup Series and in NASCAR in general. The Roval has proven to be one of the most difficult tracks to the fact that really only if you are a road course ace you can win there. Just look at how Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and AJ Allmendinger have done in the top 2 series racing there. And at Martinsville, well, it's Martinsville. It's a short track. It's short track racing. And that right there is something that takes a ton of skill, a ton of saving your equipment, and just a ton in general of talent. And I think that talent is what's taking him forward. It was also a result of pit strategy. Both those races saw tires become a very big piece of the puzzle when it came to winning the race, and ultimately, his crew chief managed to make the right calls. And a result of speed. That 20 car is fast. It is bad fast. A lot of the times towards the end of the year, it was the fastest Toyota out there, and that is going to put him in position to use that talent, to use that strategy to get a win. And this is really shown in the numbers. In 2020, he only had 2 top 5s and 7 top 10s with Levine Family Racing, and a 20th place average and points finish on that as well. Last year, he got his first win, 7 top 5s and 16 top 10s, and he led 100 laps. 12th in the points with a 16th place average. That was his first year at JGR. This past year in 2022, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, 20 top 10s, and almost 600 laps led en route to the Final 4 with a 13th place average finish. And something else to point out as well is while he had more DNFs in 2022, most of the races that he wasn't DNFing, he was finishing on the lead lap. He was maximizing what Joe Gibbs Racing gave him. It's interesting to look at it because he increased just about every important statistical metric in 2022. Wins, top 5s, top 10s, laps led, average finish, lead lap finishes. 6 very important aspects of what can be a championship winning campaign and driver for the long term. And this is actually out of the ordinary. Most drivers fell in either wins or top 5s or top 10s, or in most drivers' cases, especially up towards the top of the sport, an average finish and lead lap finish. But Bell was the only driver, really, who increased all those metrics to compete. And it shows that when things got tougher, when there was a new car, when he had a bad start and bad luck to the start of the season, he adapted. He overcame. He is a driver who is getting used to the new ways of doing things in NASCAR. And he outperformed all of his teammates last year. He outperformed Martin Truex Jr. He outperformed Kyle Busch. And he outperformed Denny Hamlin even when he turned it on towards the end of the year. If you look at his wins overall in his career, they are all impressive. He won at the Daytona Road Course in 2021. Again, a road course, very talent-based. He won in a 1v1 battle against none other than 2022 champion Joey Logano, who, in my opinion, is a top 3 driver in the NASCAR Cup Series over probably the last 10 years. Yeah, he did that one-on-one in only his second start with JGR. Pretty impressive. In 2022, his first win is at New Hampshire, his best track, a very driver-technical track, a track that is very difficult, and a race that's difficult because it's shorter, means you can't make as many mistakes, have to have the team clicking. Everything worked. He got the win there. Now we talked about the Roval. It was big on tires, and again, another very clutch win. He showed up when it really mattered most in the season. And the same can be said about Martinsville, which I would say is the most talent-based racetrack he's won at. And if you look at all 4 wins, 2 at a road course, 1 at a short track, 1 at a very flat and very hard track to drive and pass on. Overall, Bell has shown a ton, and I mean a ton, of potential for the future of his NASCAR career. And I think in 2023, people are finally going to see that talent. Now here's why I think people, and maybe some of you in the audience, are really going to notice a lot more this season. Number 1 is I think he's going to perform better in 2023 than he did in 2022. While this past year was his best so far in his NASCAR Cup career, I don't think it's anywhere near the peak that it can be. I think that he can easily score more top 5s. As JGR figures out and as Toyota figures out this new car, the top guys are going to rise to the top even further. And I think Bell is a top guy at JGR and at Toyota in general, and I think he's going to lead the way. Top 10-wise, 20 top 10s, that's nice. But a lot of guys can score 22, 24, 26, maybe even 28 to 30 top 10s in a season, given the right things happen. And I think Bell has the speed to do that. Also, I think with Kyle Busch gone, the focus of JGR, when it comes to those who are noticing in the media, will be on Christopher Bell. Bell outperformed everybody last year at JGR, but because Kyle Busch took the news waves, not many people, I don't think, noticed. Most of the questions towards Joe Gibbs, for instance, were about Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch. Well, you've taken one out of the equation and you have one that's a rookie this year, meaning that the only 2 drivers that could take any hype away from him when it comes to JGR would be Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. And while both those drivers have been good in the past, I don't think they steal the airwaves as much as Busch did and as much as Gibbs did. And I don't think that either of them are going to take the airwaves away from JGR as much as they did last year, especially Kyle Busch. Of course, the other teammate is rookie Ty Gibbs, who I mentioned before, who I'm going to be honest with you, didn't really inspire too much confidence heading into 2023 with his performance in the Cup car when he was subbing in for Kurt Busch. Overall, I think that these guys are just going to be a step below Bell next year, and people are going to be forced to notice when the best Toyota guy every week is the 20. But now, I want to pass this on to you. How do you think Christopher Bell will perform in 2023? Do you think it's going to be a lot better, worse, or do you think I'm just sort of completely out of my wits on this one and last year was a bit of an anomaly? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.